Yo, what's going on today, boys and girls? What shenanigans are you up to? Well, today, over the last couple days, I've plucked away at Whirlwind. I haven't really accomplished a whole lot. What I did do was the other lower pop bumpers. In a previous video, I did the top 3. And I have just recently completed the bottom 3 pop bumpers, so just kind of tedious and sore on the back because I'm not using a rotisserie, obviously, and I'm leaning further into the cabinet on these guys. But as you can see, they all got brand new spoons, new coil sleeves, all taken apart, clean, put together, switches cleaned and adjusted. There was really nothing too exciting to report except maybe you can see. Oh, I'm actually trying to zoom in this time, not out. See a little bit of crust on the switchblade there. Well, I don't know what was going on, but trying to take off these nuts right here and here, it's like, I don't know if they were using I know they use Loctite from the factory, but for whatever reason there's a pile of the gooey stuff, maybe almost seemed like crazy glue. Actually, I think I saw some scraps in the cabinet when I had to scrape it off with my little screwdriver. It was on there really good, and I had a hell of a time getting off the one nut. I was like almost tempted to just not even bother with it, but I'm like, nope, I've gone this far. I cannot quit now. But I think this is a little bit of the whatever crazy glue or Loctite maybe that was around the one nut. And it was spilled between the switches too, so I was concerned that the switch wasn't even going to close properly, so I had to put a Dremel in here between these blades and clean that up so that everything should be happy and snappy now. So those guys are done, and I believe I am down to, well, this is the up-down ramp mechanism. It's got 2 solenoids, one for ramp going up, one for ramp going down. So I'm probably going to tackle that. And that doesn't really leave a whole lot. This guy I might do, little up kicker. I mean, if I'm gone this far, I might as well go the full distance. And then, well, Henry said that he's placing a Pinball Life order. So I was searching the website, and I just decided I'm not going to bother rebuilding these flippers. I bought, or am going to buy from Pinball Life, the entire flipper assemblies. So all I have to do is remove these guys, install the new ones, and solder on some wires. So I'm going that route. I have the parts to rebuild these, but whatever. I'm just gonna splurge a little bit on this machine. It'll be a little easier, kind of more of a plug-and-play option. And then 2 things on the top side that I want to try and remember. I think that covers bottom side for now. Hopefully my rubbing alcohol doesn't get crunched. First thing is that I have decided to go with original Williams logo flipper bats. So because Henry said he was placing that order at Pinball Life, I've ordered 3 Williams logo yellow flipper bats. Gonna remove this one. Kind of annoying that I installed it and I'm gonna remove it, but then it'll look like this. Original. The other thing is that last video you saw I was working on the spinner. Well, I clear coated it, I let it dry, and I installed the decal. One, on this side, it's a little bit off center to the left, so I wasn't really thrilled. But it is got a black background, so you can't really tell. The other backside went on a little more straight. But I did email Marco because these spinner decals, yes, they work perfectly fine for games like Fishtails. See that? Actually, they like are twisted 90 degrees on Fishtails, come to think of it. Look at that. So that's a perfect size for Fishtails. But you may have already noticed they are a little smaller. These spinners on Whirlwind are bigger, therefore the decal doesn't quite fill the space as well as it did originally. And the reflective tape was orange on Whirlwind originally, so the original decals are orange and bigger. Now this is tolerable and fine and sufficient, but I did email Marco and just mention, hey, you know, this is, it would be nice if you had the orange option, and if not, at least if you could make one of these in a bit bigger of a size, it would be nice to have that option. That discussion I had opened up because I did mention to Marco that that drop target decal was very off yellow, and the Whirlwind text is not blue like the original. So they said they're gonna send me a proper, proper one on my next order. So just while I was talking with them about that, I brought up the spinner decal. It's fine, but it would be cool to be original-ish with the orange and bigger. So that's done. Spinner's installed. I haven't even lubricated the arms yet. I always lubricate the arms. But spinning pretty good. And sitting pretty good too. I'd like it to be sitting back just a smidge more, but you can mess with these for a long time to try and get it just right. But maybe when I pitch the playfield correctly, that might change the way it sits just a little bit. But you just don't want the ball hitting the front edge and causing it to mushroom. You want it back, if anything like that. Then it will not cause any mushroomage. Here is some exciting news. Check this out. But first, I'll just show you the old parts of the pop bumpers. Look, yet again, you see how shiny that is? And slimy. And this one too. Every mech was lubed, except they didn't lube this one. And then, where is it? It was tough to see, but pretty sure one of these was broken. Is it not true? I thought I remember seeing one of the skirts pop right through there. But, I don't know, maybe these aren't so... Oh! Here! This is some of the remnants of that crust that I was talking about. See that? What is this stuff? I don't think that's Loctite, but whatever it is, it was gooped up all around those nuts there, and it made for quite a mess. But anyway, that's dealt with. So spinner, 3 drop targets, that's really about it. But this is the exciting stuff. The new plastic set. But before I go ahead and install all this stuff, I have to do a couple things. One, I have to get some help with riveting some of the old, some of the old plastics have rivets. I'm not a riveting kind of guy, although you may think I am. But there's more here, and another one here, and another one here. It sounds like it's raining outside. What the heck? Is it raining? Maybe it's just windy. So, I gotta get this stuff riveted, and I have to decide, do I want to keep these originals? If they're in good shape, I might leave those ones. I mean, they look to be in good shape. I'll compare them to the new ones. So let's zoom out here and take a look at the new plastic set from CPR. It was funny, I've been listening to Topcasts, this old pinball show, you know, Clay Harrell's old podcast that he used to do, or radio show he called it. And it's from like 2007 and 8 and I think 2010. Lots of cool industry folk interviews. And there's a cool little commercial from CPR. It's like, 2 guys in a basement. We're reproducing plastics and playfields and back glasses. CPR, 2 guys in a basement. It's a pretty cute little old school CPR ad. I'm guessing there's more than 2 guys in a basement now. But yeah, that was the early CPR action. But yeah, if you haven't listened to Topcasts, podcasts, this is like the original old school podcast, and there's some awesome interviews with some industry folk there. Okay, I did cut through the plastic a little bit. I knew that was risky one-handed, but it looks like it didn't do any damage. But there we go. That is what I've been waiting for. I thought I ordered it from Marco, disappeared from my cart, and now it is the second time technically I ordered it. The first time I got it. So that's gonna open up some stuff, but before I go ahead and do that, I'm not even touching that. I'm gonna discipline myself and say, Michael, you must fix this issue that you're having with these spinning nonstop before you assemble playfield. Because for one thing, I want to test everything that's currently on here thoroughly, make sure all these switches are working and drop targets are all happy before I go ahead and start piling stuff onto the playfield, only to find that, oh, this switch in the back corner isn't working very well. In order for me to adjust it, it would be much handy if I could do it from the top side, but the top side is not accessible anymore. So, and I'll check out all the pop bumpers. So I want to do a bunch of testing of everything, every switch and solenoid before I go ahead and populate the playfield. So that's my goal. I'm going to try and remedy this non-stop spinning wheel action, although that would be fun during gameplay. Wouldn't that be kind of like Fireball Classic? Doesn't that thing spin non-stop? So it would be 3 times the fun of Fireball Classic. But nope, that's not how it's designed. So I've got to figure out if I screwed something up when I was fixing the boards, or somehow it just appeared because I was touching things, a lot of things, and maybe caused it somehow from underneath. I mean, I desoldered the motor and resoldered it. I know I didn't screw that up. It's very basic, 2 wires. Let's look for fun. Okay, back you go. See this? There's 2 wires on that side, 1 wire on that side. There's really no way to screw that up, except to have it in reverse. But I think, what would that do? Just spin the wheels the other direction? Do you think? But I'm certain I didn't screw that up. So it's very basic, 2 wires and a motor, right? And these little coils. So I guess I could check the continuity of these coils, make sure they're still fine, but C1, hey, there's a spot for C1 there that's not populated, so no capacitor there, or whatever was planning on being there at one point. Alright, so enough of me blabbing. I'm gonna see if I can make some headway here. Alright, here we go. Well, I got sidetracked as I do. I was just emptying out my box from CPR, and this long plastic was taped to the box itself because it doesn't fit in the CPR plastic bag. So I thought, maybe I'll just install this plastic onto the light panel, and just for fun we can compare the difference. The blue is certainly way darker, but I actually like that. It's more brilliant. And then the yellow and gray. The yellow is pretty close. The gray is a little darker, but it almost just makes it look like this plastic is just faded, and this is kind of more deep and dark and brilliant. But yeah, I like it. And look how it's printed on the back with the lightning effect. It's pretty cool, eh? And all the holes are there. They look to be, you know, occasionally you have to drill an extra hole if one gets missed, but no biggie. I got a drill. But they're all good here. So I'm just going to change over the hardware, stick it to the lamp panel there, and oh, and here's, I unpacked my yellow cabinet protectors. I think they'll match good. Yeah, alright. Alright, there it is, installed in most of its glory. What I noticed is one of the 5 spacers is actually longer than the other ones. Now, it doesn't really matter too much, but problem with that, it's just like, it's really not much longer, but it is a little longer. But I didn't like it because it was whoa, it was like bowing out my plastic right here. It was like out a little bit, and it'll warp over time. So I'll just take a little bit off of this using my scroll saw. And yeah, I know it's being a little particular, but I got new plastics. I don't want them to warp. Looks like I got to take off an 1/8. I'm going to shave off an 1/8, but you can even see the texture looks different than the other ones. So, you know, there's a big bin of these at the factory probably, and a couple got mixed in there that are a slightly different bit longer. But this one is shiny and the other ones are dull and longer. I mean, this one's longer obviously. So just a little minor detail that I'm going to remedy. There we go. It only takes like 10 seconds and that should do the trick. Alright, that's a little better. I mean, nice and parallel. Much better than it was. Now, that won't get installed for a while, but that one's prepped. What am I doing playing with lane guides? I should be friggin' dealing with electrical. Oh well, I couldn't help myself. So I'm just messing with these lane guides here. This is polished up. That's original. This is the back of the old plastic. A little crusty. Here's the new plastics. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Well, the font is definitely thicker and not quite as clear as Lane Light Cellar Door. And this has some red on the bottom, and that red is kind of missing from that. I gotta say, I really love that there are plastic sets available. Back in the day there wasn't, so this is just a luxury to have, and I'm so thrilled. But like, I kind of like the look of the old ones better, to be honest. On these lane guides, I'm in a bit of a crossroads here. I mean, how do you change some plastics and not all? I mean, isn't it kind of all or nothing? The font is a little thick and blurry, and it's not quite as centered with the red. I mean, this is really picky of me, I gotta admit. But, I mean, what do you say? You be the judge. I'm really tempted to just reuse the old plastics, because what is wrong with the old plastics? A little bit dirty, tiniest little bit of scratching on the surface. I think I would take that over looking at this and knowing that the original is better. I think I'm gonna actually stick with the originals on this one. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just getting too picky for my own good. Like, if I get pickier and pickier every restoration, I'm gonna just like, I don't know. I'm gonna be my own worst nightmare. But I mean, this is kind of cut and dry, right? This, if I were to do a survey, what looks better? I think it would be 98% to 2% probably in a survey. So, all right, I'm gonna go with originals. I'll just clean them up. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, lane guides are installed. I'm happy with my decision. Yes, I am. Oh, just for fun, let's go get the old ones and just kind of lay them over top and just see. I mean, just to the average Joe, well, it looks plenty fine. But, you know, and by that I mean 99% of humans wouldn't even notice. But once they're right up side by side, that was my downfall. Not really downfall, but that was my decision. I am happy with it. But these are perfectly sufficient. Thank you, CPR, for reproducing them. Alright, so I was gonna mess around with the spinny disc issue and went to turn on the machine and it did not boot up. So my 5 volts is still intermittent on the power supply, even though I reflowed the power connector that goes to the CPU and replaced the... Did I show you this? I probably did. Yeah, I must have. But replaced the female, reflowed the headers coming off the power supply, replaced the female here, and reflowed the headers. Thought that solved my problem, but it clearly did not. So I disconnected this, and then I was getting 0.5 volt. I disconnected this, then I was getting my 5 volts. I plug this back in, get my 5 volts, plug that back in, CPU boots up, and spinny disc starts spinning again. So I'm kind of going backwards again. This is the same issue that I had from the very beginning, and really nothing's changed. Even though I sent out the boards, redid the connectors, there's something that is being missed, and I don't know what it is. This one is driving me a little bit nutty. Not even sure what direction to go at this point. Probably going to post something on Pinball Repair Help Group. I sent a message to my board repair guy to see if he has any suggestions, because I don't know if this is CPU issue, power supply issue, another board issue, connector issue. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know, obviously, otherwise it would be working. So, that's it. I'm going to have a beer.